Christianity, a religion centered on the figure of Jesus Christ, emerged from the rich and complex tapestry of first-century Judaism. To understand the rise of Christianity, we must journey back in time to the centuries before Jesus' birth. This was a period of immense change and upheaval for the Jewish people, a time when their religious and cultural identity was being reshaped by internal and external forces. This essay will explore the historical and religious landscape of Judea in the centuries leading up to the birth of Jesus, shedding light on the factors that set the stage for the emergence of Christianity. At the heart of both Judaism and Christianity lies the Hebrew Bible, known to Christians as the Old Testament. These ancient scriptures, composed over centuries, contain a rich tapestry of stories, laws, poetry, and prophecies. They tell the story of the Israelites, their covenant with God, and their unique relationship with the divine. For early Christians, these scriptures were not merely historical documents, but divinely inspired writings that foreshadowed the coming of Jesus as the Messiah. Christians saw in the Hebrew Bible prophecies that they believed were fulfilled in Jesus' life, death, and resurrection. The story of Abraham's near sacrifice of his son, Isaac, for example, was interpreted as prefiguring God's sacrifice of his own son, Jesus. Similarly, the Passover lamb, sacrificed annually to commemorate the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt, became a potent symbol of Jesus, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world.
A key concept that profoundly influenced the development of Christianity was the Jewish belief in a coming Messiah. The Hebrew word Messiah, or Mashiach, means Anointed One and refers to a future king, descended from King David, who would restore Israel to its former glory. This messianic hope, fueled by centuries of foreign domination and oppression, was a central theme in Jewish religious thought. Prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah spoke of a time when God would send a righteous leader to establish a reign of peace and justice. These prophecies, imbued with a deep longing for liberation and restoration, resonated powerfully with the Jewish people, who yearned for an end to their suffering and the fulfillment of God's promises. It is within this context of yearning and expectation that the figure of Jesus emerged, captivating the hearts and minds of those who believed him to be the long-awaited Messiah.
The Second Temple period, spanning from the 6th century BCE to the 1st century CE, was a time of great religious diversity within Judaism. Various sects emerged, each with its own interpretation of Jewish law and tradition. The Pharisees, known for their strict adherence to the Torah, Jewish law, and their belief in the resurrection of the dead, are perhaps the most well-known. The Sadducees, often associated with the priesthood and the temple in Jerusalem, rejected the idea of an afterlife and emphasized the importance of temple rituals. The Essenes, a more reclusive sect, believed in strict asceticism and communal living, often withdrawing from society to live in desert communities. The Zealots, known for their fervent nationalism and resistance to Roman rule, advocated for armed rebellion against the occupying forces. The Hellenistic world, a meeting of cultures, the conquests of Alexander the Great. In the 4th century BCE, ushered in the Hellenistic era, a period of significant cultural exchange between the Greek world and the Near East. Jewish culture, exposed to new ideas and philosophies, underwent a process of transformation and adaptation. Greek language, literature, and philosophy permeated Jewish intellectual circles. This cultural fusion was not without its tensions, as traditional Jewish values sometimes clashed with the allure of Hellenistic culture. The translation of the Hebrew Bible into Greek, known as the Septuagint, was made during this period and facilitated the spread of Jewish ideas among Greek-speaking communities. This translation also made it easier for early Christians, many of whom were more familiar with Greek than Hebrew, to access and interpret the scriptures. The interaction between Judaism and Hellenism created a fertile ground for new religious ideas and movements to take root.
Under Roman rule, a time of upheaval. In 63 BCE, the Roman general Pompey the Great conquered Judea, ushering in a new era of Roman rule. While Rome generally allowed its conquered peoples to practice their religions, Roman rule brought with it its own set of challenges and tensions. Roman taxation policies, often seen as exploitative, caused resentment among the Jewish population. Moreover, the presence of Roman troops and the imposition of Roman law and administration were constant reminders of Judea's subjugation. This political climate, marked by oppression and unrest, fueled messianic expectations among the Jewish people, who longed for a divinely appointed leader to liberate them from Roman domination. It is against this backdrop of political turmoil and religious ferment that the story of Jesus unfolds.
Echoes of a movement non-Christian accounts. While the primary sources for understanding early Christianity are the New Testament writings, it is important to note that non-Christian sources also mention Jesus and his followers. Roman historians like Tacitus and Suetonius, writing in the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, make brief but significant references to Jesus, his crucifixion under Pontius Pilate, and the early Christian movement. These accounts, though limited in scope, provide valuable external corroboration of some of the key events mentioned in the New Testament. Jewish historian Josephus, writing in the late 1st century CE, also mentions Jesus in his work. Although Josephus's account of Jesus is believed to have been later embellished by Christian scribes, it nevertheless attests to the historical existence of Jesus and the impact he made during his lifetime. Unearthing the past. Archaeological evidence. Archaeological discoveries have also shed light on the world of early Christianity. Excavations in Jerusalem and other parts of Israel have unearthed remnants of 1st century synagogues, homes, and other structures that provide valuable insights into the daily lives of people during the time of Jesus. Inscriptions and artifacts such as ossuaries, bone boxes inscribed with the names of early Christians, offer tangible evidence of the presence and practices of these early believers. For example, the discovery of a 1st century house in Capernaum, believed by some to have been the home of the Apostle Peter, offers a glimpse into the domestic setting in which Jesus may have taught and healed. Such archaeological findings, though fragmentary, help to illuminate the historical context in which Christianity emerged.
The crucible of change, Second Temple Judaism in transition. The Second Temple period was a time of profound transformation for Judaism, a period marked by internal diversity, external pressures, and a deep-seated longing for messianic redemption. The encounter with Hellenistic culture exposed Jews to new ideas and ways of thinking, while Roman rule brought with it both opportunities and challenges. The destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans in 70 CE marked a decisive turning point, leading to the decline of the temple-based priesthood and the rise of rabbinic Judaism. It was within this crucible of change, amidst the hopes and anxieties of people yearning for spiritual and political liberation, that the seeds of Christianity were sown.
Conclusion: seeds sown in fertile ground. The story of Christianity's origins is inextricably intertwined with the history and religious landscape of Second Temple Judaism. The Hebrew Bible, with its stories, laws, and prophecies, provided the foundational scriptures for both faiths. The messianic hope, fueled by centuries of foreign domination, created an environment of expectation and anticipation. The diversity of Jewish sects, each offering its own interpretation of Jewish law and tradition, reflected the dynamic nature of religious thought during this period. The encounter with Hellenistic culture and the imposition of Roman rule further shaped the contours of Jewish life, creating both opportunities and challenges. It was within this complex and dynamic environment, shaped by internal diversity, external pressures, and a deep longing for messianic redemption, that the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth took root and flourished. The story of Christianity's origins reminds us that new religious movements do not emerge in a vacuum, but are born out of the hopes, anxieties, and aspirations of a particular time and place.